Hi, welcome to the fourth lecture in Revit for Structural Design Exam Preparation course. I'm Murtaza, and today I'm talking about the Revit project management topics, the tools that Revit offers for collaboration and BIM coordination. Okay, first let's have an overview on Revit project management. Revit uses great tools such as Faces, design options, and worksets for BIM project management and control for BIM coordination. These tools are very powerful for managing the time, decisions, as well as collaboration during the design process. And they are essential for multidisciplinary BIM projects. So if you are working in a commercial building a commercial project, a huge project where BIM is required, you need to learn these BIM project management tools such as Faces, design options, and worksets in order to collaborate with others, in order to communicate and deliver your design very well to your clients and other stakeholders. Let's have some questions related to the Revit project management overview. First, multiple choice question. Which Revit feature is primarily used for team collaboration? In Revit, we said there are three powerful tools: Faces, design options, and worksets. Each has a unique application. And for the team collaboration, worksets is used. So first, uh, the worksets are defined and each person can borrow elements from a particular workset, and once he or she is done, then she can relinquish his work, his design to communicate and share with others. He can also comment on that. So we will show that how it works in Revit. Second question, a large team is working on the same structural model. So we have one central model and everybody is working on that. Which Revit feature ensures controlled multi-user access? For this question, the answer is again the worksets. So worksets define how each individual borrow the elements, work on a particular part. You might have multiple colors for each workset, and then that way you will understand who is working on what. So for Revit, project management, team collaboration works as a very powerful tool. Let's talk about project phases in Revit. We say that project phases manage the sequence of the construction process. You break down the work, the project into multiple stages and define each stage and assign the elements to particular phases. That way you can communicate and present your design to the construction team, how they are going to be done, very clear, very accurate, and then you define the schedules for that particular phase, the time, assign the timing. That way you would have a smooth and easy project management. The Revit project phase represents a real-time based stage for existing demolition and new construction. So you can assign some of the elements to the existing condition. If it is a renovation project, for example, you say the existing building elements are the existing phase. Demolition, if there needs to be demolished something, for example, a wall, you define that wall to that demolished phase, and any other elements to be built newly, they are going to be assigned to the new construction phase. You might have multiple phases, and then you use phase filters to show particular phase in a project. So you can assign the elements to a particular phase, and then you can use the project face filters in order to filter the elements and show a particular face of the project in your drawing. Let's have some questions related to the project faces in Revit. Question is, which settings control how existing and demolished elements appear? So if we want to show only the demolished elements and hide the existing elements, for example, we use the project faces. So we assign the existing elements to the existing face and demolished elements to the demolished face. And then we use face filters to show only a particular project face. Second question is scenario-based question, and the question is, you are documenting an extension to an existing building. How should existing walls be modeled and controlled? So the same question. If you want to show only the existing walls, we are going to model the existing walls and put it in the existing face, and that way we can control either to show it or to hide it in our documentation. The importance and benefits of project faces should be clear for you. You clearly separate project stages, different construction process and stages of the project. You accurately define the drawings, the schedules for each phase. For example, if it is just the foundation phase, you say it may need blah blah cubic concrete, it needs such a amount of excavation, labor, and costs. So that way you prepare schedules and assign that and put that schedules next to that particular phase in Revit. I'll show you how you do it in the next session. It also reduces documentation errors. You would have clear and accurate drawings, accurate schedules for each phase, and you avoid errors in the future. A simple question, which project type benefits mostly from the phases? Say the refurbishment projects, because you assign the existing walls, for example, to the existing phase and the newly built elements to the new phase. So that's how you use the project phases in Revit. Another question, a contractor receives incorrect demolition drawings. Which Revit feature may have been misused? For that, of course, you should be very clear which elements are assigned to which phase. So you also need to check phase filters if the phase filters are correct and elements are assigned to a defined phase, so the issue would be solved. Next, let's talk about design options. In Revit, talked about the project phases. Design options are also very powerful tool in order to communicate these different design options, alternatives for different parts of the building. For example, if you have an entry of a hospital, you have to design multiple ways for the entry. So maybe architects have designed various options for you, and you use design options in order to convey and communicate your design with the clients, with the other stakeholders, and then use the primary option, primary design option in the Revit in order to finalize your design. The design option is primarily used in the early stages of the design, mainly in the schematic and conceptual design phase, when you are talking about how to design this part, how to enter, how to for example, design the roof. So for each part of the building, you might have various design options, and then you talk with your clients and other stakeholders and finalize your design. Let's have some questions related to the design options in Revit. First question, design options are best suited for a construction sequencing? No, we say that project phases are used for construction sequencing. B, team collaboration? No, we haven't talked about that in a very detailed way. C, design alternatives? Yes, that's the answer, and we skip the rest. And scenario question, a client requests two framing layouts for comparison. How should this be managed in Revit? We say that for design options and alternatives such as framing layouts, we use design options. We might have option 1, option 2, 3, 4, and for this framing layout, we use design options in order to convey our design. Let's talk about the benefits and use cases of design options. We said why we use design options, where we use it. The reason is that it avoids duplicate models. We do not need to develop two different models for different design options. We can communicate and offer different alternatives in design options, the solutions in one model, in a single model, by using design options. That's very useful. It supports informed decision making. So of course, we talk about each alternative, each design options with our stakeholders, with the clients, and then decide which design option should be the primary, should be the secondary, and the tertiary. So we have multiple alternatives, and we prioritize our design and then make decisions based on that. It is used in early design stages. Said earlier, it's used in conceptual design phases. So that's how we use and why we use, where we use the design options. And let's have some practical questions related to the benefit and use cases of design options. First question, what should be done after a design option is approved? So when a design option is approved by the clients, by the supervisor, by the senior engineer, everybody agrees with that, then we accept that design option as the primary option. So Revit has the capability to select and decide which option is the best option, primary option, and then it asks if you want to delete the rest of the options. Always keep in mind you need to have backup of the models after before you make the primary options. Second question, multiple options remain active late in documentation. Which BIM risk does this create? So if we have multiple options and remain active in documentation, then we might have a huge model, complicated model. We need to make our model healthy, make our model easy to understand, easy to read, and therefore, after we finalize our design options, we agree in the design options, we have to accept the final options as the primary options. And that way we avoid the risk that our model might crash, or model might be too heavy and complicated to understand. Lastly, we talk about work sets in Revit. We talked about design phases, talked about design options. So the third important topic in a Revit project management and BIM collaboration is work sets. Revit has the capacity to define work sets and then assign various elements to the worksets. It enables multi-user collaboration. Every user, every designer might be able to borrow elements, work on a particular workset, and then share and communicate their design. It also controls the element ownership. As I said earlier, when one person, a user, is working on a particular workset, on particular element, no one else would be able to edit, to modify the changes to that particular element or workset. It controls how everybody is working on what, who is responsible for what, and then you can create the history of the changes. You can create reports on who has done what. So it's very transparent, very accurate, and avoids conflicts during the design. It also is also required for worksheet models. So if you want to share your model with others, if you want to work online, it is a very powerful tool to collaborate and communicate our design. Questions related to worksets. Worksets are primarily used to manage time. No. Talked about time. Design alternatives. No. Talked about this. Users and ownership. Yes, this is the solution. If you want to manage users and ownership of the elements, the design, manage the responsibilities and tasks, worksets is a very powerful tool. Scenario-based question. Several users need to edit the same model simultaneously. Which setup is required? So if different users are working on a same model simultaneously, we need to use worksets and assign worksets to a particular user, and then everybody would be able to work on the particular part of the model. Everybody would be able to collaborate and communicate during the design. Worksets collaboration and coordination. I say it is very powerful for collaboration and coordination. It prevents editing conflicts. So when somebody changes something, it is gonna be stamped. It's gonna be clear in the signature, the time, signature, the date. Everything would be clear and transparent. So it prevents the conflicts. It improves performance, of course, because different users are able to work on the same model. It improves performance, and it supports large BIM teams. If you are working on a very large project and you have to complete it in a very short period of time, you need to have multiple designers and users, and so that everybody is working on a project, and then it is gonna be completely earlier, and that way we meet the timeline, deadlines, and so on and so forth. So it's very powerful and useful tool. Let's have questions. The question is, which benefit is not related to worksets? So we said worksets has multiple benefits. First, reduced file size. B, controlled editing. Design comparison. Collaboration. Design comparison is the solution, because design comparison is basically used for the design options. It's not about worksets. It reduces the file size because many people are working on the same model and might not have various files. Of course, you might have local copy of the central model, but the central model has a unique size, and that way you reduce the file size as well. Next question, a slow model improves after closing unused workspace. Why did this help? Uh, so we have a model, a slow model, and it is improved after we close unused workspace. The reason is that um, different users from different computers, local computers, work on the same model, and everybody is kind of busy in that model, and the model is also being busy during the design. And if we close those unused workspaces, it helps a lot in order to get fast and quicker. Okay, let's go to the next topic. To sum up, first we compare phases versus design options and workspace. We said phases are used to manage time, the sequence of the construction process. Design options are used to manage design options, alternatives, and then we are able to finalize our primary option. Workspaces are used to manage people. So we manage people, manage alternatives, and we manage time, all of them in Revit using various tools. So I have multiple choice question related to the difference between these. Which feature controls who can edit elements? It's about people. So when it is about people, it's all about work sets. So option C is correct. Next question, scenario-based question. A student uses design options to represent demolition. Which is wrong with this approach? Because demolition is part topic related to the project phases, and if somebody is trying to communicate and represent a demolition as a design option, that's not the solution. Maybe he can offer the different options for demolition using the design options. But for the demolition itself, which is a phase of project, it does not make sense to use design options. It's mainly managed by the project phase and phase filters. You talk about BIM coordination and collaboration in order to emphasize on the topic of all of these Revit tools, powerful tools such as design options, worksets, and project phases are used to collaborate, coordinate, and manage the project. And it supports coordination, BIM delivery. So as we know, BIM is very emerging, very growing in the recent years, and Revit is a very powerful BIM software. So it supports coordinated BIM delivery. It improves communication and reduce rework errors, conflicts. It reduces costs and time. That's very beneficial for every organization and every project. Short questions about BIM coordination and collaboration. Which outcome best represents good BIM coordination? Large file size? No. If you have large file size, you are in trouble. Fewer requests for information? Yes. More design options? No. More views? No. So you have fewer requests for information because everything is clear. BIM is a single source of truth. Everybody knows about what others are doing, what he is doing. Everybody's responsibility and task is clear. So you have less request for information, because you already have communicated your options, your design, and your uh, uh, problems and issues. You don't have too much worries about the future. Scenario-based question. Poor coordination led to clashes on site. Which Revit management tools could have helped? Well, if you have poor coordination and then it leads to a clash on the site, it is about design of project phase. Sorry, project phase, maybe design option. For project phases, you have to be very clear which elements are assigned to which project phase, and that way you avoid clashes on the site. Again, phases are used for staged construction when you have a very defined and clear and transparent construction management. Phases are powerful. Design options are used for early design, conceptual design, and work sets are for team collaboration. Remember that. Oh yeah, one manages time, one manages people, another manages the basically design options and alternatives. Again, some questions related to the use cases. Which combination is correct? Work sets plus alternatives, phases plus collaboration, design options plus early design, phases plus team ownership. So design options are for early design, so this combination is correct. Scenario-based question. A project uses all three tools correctly. Which does this indicate about BIM maturity? So if a project uses all of these three tools correctly, it's all about BIM maturity. The firm or the team is using the BIM tools and the BIM concepts correctly. It reduces the conflicts, the errors. You can clearly see how the project is completed early without any problems. It's quicker, it's transparent, and it avoids extra time and extra money to be spent on the project. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned about project phase, how to assign elements to a project phase, why it is useful, how it manages time, how it is useful for construction. You also learn about design options in Revit, how it is used to communicate, to offer different solutions and design options in the early and conceptual stage of the design, how you make the final options, the preferred options as primary options in Revit. And lastly, you learn how to manage people, how to work as a team on a single file in Revit, how to create work sets, and then assign work sets to different individuals, working different people from different places on a single central model, and then you synchronize your changes to the central model. That way you work on a single file from different locations. Very powerful BIM coordination and collaboration tools. Also, these multiple choice questions, scenario-based questions, which are useful for the exam. If you like this video, please share this video with your friends and also subscribe this channel for more videos. In the next session, I will go in Revit and use these tools on a project, and that way you will learn how to use design options, how to use project face and face filters and also worksets and team collaboration tools in Revit. Thank you, everyone, and see you again. Bye.